Elaine to the Zoom room again for another part of letting go session. Quite late today, but nevertheless we're doing it. So yeah, let's jump into today's lesson. Today's quote, some teaching around that. That'll lead us nicely into as an introduction actually to the final lessons, 6 paragraphs, and then into the lesson. We'll meditate on the lesson. And that'll be the session. So okay, so I'm going to share my screen with you. Okay, so if you can read that headline quote from Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi on flow for us.
It is when we act freely for the sake of the action itself, rather than for ulterior motives, that we learn to become more than what we were.
So yeah, psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi coined the word flow. He's the guy who coined the term, and he brought the idea into modern psychology and usage. It's not really a new idea, it's just a new term. So he tells us what the essence of flow is, which is acting freely because we enjoy doing whatever we are doing. It's a state in which your mind is free of the self-seeking and inevitable worry that characterize the ego or separate self's way of life. Allowing your natural state of joy to arise spontaneously in your mind, which helps you learn experientially that you are more than the limited separate self-concept you believed in before you started experiencing flow regularly in your life. So it's how you learn. Flow is how you learn that there is a lot more to life. See, flow is an experience. So because joy is an emotion that powerfully and positively affects the quantum field in which you all seem to live as human beings in this world, joy consistently experienced leads to the regular occurrence of what Yeshua calls miracles, A Course in Miracles, or what we translate as corrections in our alternative non-Christian language. So these internal corrections to our state of mind often lead to miracles, or what another psychologist, Carl Jung, called synchronicities, happening on the level of form in our lives. Beneficent events, strange coincidences, such as seemingly random meetings with people that help us learn who we really are, as Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi observed in today's quote. So it's a very profound quote. He's saying, we learn to become more than what we were when we act freely without ulterior motives. It teaches us who we really are, more than our limited self-concept. And that's exactly what the miracle does. So miracles and flow are exactly the same. They're just different language. It's just different terminology for the same process. So the internal correction or change in our mindset and perception leads to the external manifestation of that inner shift, which confirms to us that we are the higher, more expanded self that inspired us to make the correction and are heading in the right direction in our lives. And that in turn inspires us to follow the guidance of our true, or in Course in Miracles terminology, Christ self, that will naturally reinforce our faith in it when we follow its guidance. So this diagram shows this connection, integral connection between the interior exterior domains of life in this world, which is the essence of the orbit. Should help you to visualize and understand this integral connection between the interior and the exterior aspects of a correction or miracle at a deeper level. So you have the individual interior, that's your own thoughts, beliefs, values. There's a sense of a subjective self, the I, and that has an impact in the external. So the I leads to behavior, which then exhibits, it's the expression of the thoughts, beliefs, values, emotions that you experience in the internal. Let me go to this actually. This diagram might be useful as well, to illustrate it, because it's got these kind of contour lines going on. So look at the integral model, the contour lines. The I, subjective self of thoughts, emotions, memories, states of mind, perceptions, and immediate sensations, is reflected. It's on the same line. It's reflected then in the objective, individual objective, which is the material body and its behavior in time and space. It also has a reflection in the interobjective. So that's the collective objective. The systems, the networks, the processes, the natural environment, the macro level of life, that is the sum total of all of the behaviors of individuals makes up that collective. And then it also impacts immediately into the we, the intersubjective. So that's the domain of shared values, meaning, culture, language, and so on. And so whenever you have a thought and you make a decision, matrix, because as within, so without. The outside is a reflection of the inner. And then the outside also reflects back to the inner. And so if you have a false inner world, then what you see externally is false, and that reflects back to you, and then you believe that it's all false. Similarly, if it's true and you see miracles happening, so strange, miraculous, synchronistic events that are beneficial and blessing to you and others, then that confirms that this thought system must be correct, because you're getting these results. And so each thought system is self-reinforcing because of this law of mind, that as within, so without. So we might as well use it positively rather than negatively. Use it to awaken from the dream. And you do that by letting go of your attachments to the objective world. So mental and emotional attachment to whatever's happening here binds you to that level, see? So something's happened, you believe it's real, now you root yourself, you ground yourself onto that same level, don't you? And so can you see why letting go works? Because when you let go of your psychological and emotional attachment to the external world, it means that you can bump up a level. Every time you let go, you go up the levels into a higher order of thought and emotion. And then that, if you really do shift, and that becomes a sustainable shift, that will inevitably have impact on the external experience. That's got to change as well, because as within, so without. And so that's why this path of A Course in Miracles is so important, because it will get reflected. Yes, you're saying your mind is going to be reflected in the external world. So you want to think right-mindedly, and you want to get positive, right-minded reflections, which are miracles happening for you to bless you and help you. And this is these little miracles show you that grace is with you, the Spirit's with you. Actually, what you're doing is you're on the right track. And so it reinforces the thought system and encourages you to do more of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll give you an example of a little miracle. Just actually at the airport. I just came from the airport. My phone had I was ordering an Uber, and my phone just died in that process. It was still, trying to get. So I'm walking along and come to where the Ubers pull up, and I'm like, well, I don't know if it's been booked, and I don't know who it is. So I need to kind of connect my phone to my laptop because I can charge it from my laptop. And then there were two places to sit. There were two free seats. The one, these people were talking. I was like, no, intuitively, it doesn't feel right to sit in between them. So I went to the other one that was free, sat down, and I started trying to charge my phone on my laptop. It wasn't really working because I don't think that it's a significant enough charge to get it going again. And then this lady said, "Oh, here we go. I happen to have a charger." And so she pulled out a charger. I connected to it for a few minutes. It got me going enough to be able to boot my phone up and see, oh, okay, the Uber actually did get booked, and this is the type of car and the license number, so that I could recognize it when it came. Otherwise, you just don't know. It would have been difficult. So that's a little moment of help, isn't it?
Yes, yeah. Mm-hmm.
A little miracle, like, okay, you got exactly what I needed. She was sitting right next to me, someone who just happened to have a proper charger, which could charge it just enough for me to get
The
to get
information. Mm-hmm.
yeah, to get the information so I could catch it home. Otherwise, I'm not sure what I would have done. Couldn't catch an Uber, no phone. It would have been problematic.
Mm.
So and actually it didn't delay me very much at all. It was like, okay, the guy was on his way anyway, and okay, he's here. So these are examples of miracles and the flow. I didn't really get too stressed about it. I was just like, well, okay, I guess I'll get my laptop out, and I always, when I do a trip, I
Mm.
always give it to the Holy Spirit. Say, okay, you take care of the whatever, whatever
Minutia.
details, whatever situations arise,
Mm-hmm.
you take care of it. And it's amazing what happens when you do that. To the point of like split second time. I remember once I was I had to catch a bus from Motcombe, which is the village where Deborah lives. I was at a house, and she couldn't drop me for some reason at the train station. So I think she had to go fetch Gabriel. So I had to catch a bus. And I've kind of worked out the timing. Okay, so I had maybe 15, 20 minutes to get the bus and then get to the bus station, the train station, the next town. And the bus was kind of running late, but I went, no, I let it go. I was like, okay, I'm just trusting Spirit. It's going to be okay. Because if I'd missed that train, the next one would have been an hour later, and I might well have missed my flight. That hour made quite a big difference. I certainly would have been really rushing.
Mm-hmm.
So the bus drops me, and I'm like, okay, off we get. I walk onto the platform. As I'm walking onto the platform, the train pulls in. I literally didn't break my stride. The doors
Mm.
opened,
Nice
just
when that
walked straight
happens.
on. It was
Yeah,
absolutely perfect timing. It was like, okay, no delay at all, just walked straight
yeah.
on, and the whole thing flowed. Now, if I'd been out of flow, I would have missed the train by 30 seconds, and then it would have been, oh, now you're under pressure. You're going
Mm.
to struggle to make the time. I may still have done it. I don't know, but the whole thing would not have been you
Flow.
know
Yeah.
as flowing experience because I've been rushing. And that's just an example. Like, it just was orchestrated perfectly. Got there, and precisely, if the bus had been 30 seconds later, I would have missed it. It was absolutely bang on time. I just walked onto the train. And so those kinds of things can happen, if you're in the flow. And it's just to acknowledge them. I acknowledged it. I was like, okay, thank you. You give the thanks. It was like, don't not appreciate it. You appreciate it. And that feeds back into your inner state, and you go, okay, I'm acknowledging the power of the miracle here, and I'm acknowledging this other power, the Holy Spirit, that has just helped me. So thank you. And of course, the more you do that, the more you thank it, the more it reinforces the thought system that's behind it, the more likely these things are to happen. Synchronicities, miracles, just really helpful, beneficial events can be little things. Like tonight, that was a little thing, but it just made the evening flow so much better. If I hadn't been able to get my my phone charged, I probably would have had to go back into the terminal building. I wouldn't have known, because I wouldn't have known,
Yeah.
well, is there an Uber or not? I wouldn't have known who it is. Maybe I would have found him anyway, but maybe not. We could have missed each other, because I wouldn't have known which car. There's a number of cars floating. I wouldn't have known which car to find. But as it is, it's like, okay, so that little intervention just created an evening of flow. It meant I could be reasonably on time. Sorry, I was about 15 minutes late, but reasonably on time for the session. Otherwise, the session may not have happened. And so the Spirit knows this and goes, okay, well, this is important. So the session needs to happen. So we will just make sure that someone happens to be there, and you sit right next to her, and she's got one of these charging things, which gives you just enough power. And she was there just for 5 minutes, gives me just enough to get the thing going. And like, okay, now I know, I know who the Uber is, and I can get it. And so it just makes your whole experience, much more flowing. And then I had quite a nice chat to the guy. We connected. He's quite an intelligent young black guy, and he's talking about politics and what's going on in the country. And again, I must say, it gave me a lot of hope, because he's a black guy, and he's like, no, I'm not voting for this government again. They're hopeless. So the more that happens, the more likely a change will come, positive change. And I arranged for him to come fetch me tomorrow, because my brother doesn't want to take me to the airport because it's rush hour. So I thought, rather than, I could catch a train,
Yeah.
but then I've got 3 bags, and I've got to change stations, and the whole experience
Sounds a bit of a trash.
is a bit difficult. When you sit back in a car, have a chat to him, it's much more relaxing. Maybe you can make a call or two as well. Yeah. So, one little intervention like that, there's a whole chain of flow, a whole chain of events that are beneficial, that help you to stay in a flowing state, because that's what you've asked for. I said, help me. I'm handing it all over. I'm giving it to you. You organize the trip. Okay. So as you ask and you shall receive. Knock and you will find. Seek and you will find. Ask and you will receive. Seek and you will find. Knock and the door will be opened. That's one of Yeshua's most famous quotes from the Bible. So if you do ask, then be prepared to receive, because that's how it works. These synchronicities show you, miracles of synchronicity show you that, this does actually work. It has an effect. And you can, even if you're in a tight spot, a little bit of difficulty, you can always ask for the help and the guidance, and it'll find a way to help you and bless you. And this makes your life so much more livable and bearable than if you're out of flow. If you're out of flow, it's just everything's going wrong and nothing's working for you, and you're in resistance, and it's a hellish state of mind to be in, because you're just resisting everything and judging everything as, oh, well, this is just bad and negative, and why is this happening to me? And the victim story gets promoted, and on it goes. And none of that has got anything to do with flow. It's just the ego trying to make you miserable and to confirm its reality. So this is our calling, is to live in this way. Not just a theory, but to actually live our lives in this way. And that's why we study and we practice. So just go back to the email briefly. There's a very quite an in-depth video actually, if I recall. About a 35-minute video about the integral theory, the integral model.
All right, yeah.
And so if you want to, dive more into it, because it's actually got a lot to it. There's not just quadrants, but there's lines, levels, states, and types. So
Right.
what Ken Wilber did was he tried to put into one model all that he'd learned up to that point. He did this in the early 90s. So he'd been writing books and studying various, religious theories and spiritual practices and cultures, spiritual traditions for years, for maybe 20 years at that point. And his challenge was to put it all into one theory that made sense, a theory of everything. He called it the integral model. And, he's done I think, his best, as good a job as anyone has ever done to explain all of it, bearing in mind that he's still trying to explain an illusion. It's within the construct of the dream world, but it can help you to navigate your way through the dream world, and that's the value of these ideas. Okay, well, if it helps you to change your mindset, get different results in your life, and experience more happiness and love and peace and joy, then it can only be valuable. See. So yeah, listen to that video for more information about the integral model. And that brings us to our live session, which we're in. So yeah, any questions? We talked about discussing this. Any questions about or comments about this idea of flow and the integral model and how it relates to flow?
Well, it's very well explained, but yes, it's my goal, yeah, to be in the flow. Yeah. Which I do get moments like that. But yeah, very well explained. I'll watch the video on the Ken Wilber's
Yeah,
integral.
I find it helpful. I think what it does is it frames some of what the course is saying. He talks about Yeshua talks about the miracles, but he's not as explicit as Ken Wilber. When he refers to miracles, he's actually referring to two aspects. There's so there's more information there on Wikipedia, but he's referring to two aspects. The internal aspect is just a change of mind. That's the correction of perception. But then he uses miracles also to refer to the external results of that correction. And both are part of the miracle. Change of mind, but then the external results demonstrate that the change of mind is real and that something tangible has happened. And so both are necessary, because if it was just, imagine if you changed your mind internally and nothing happened externally, nothing changed at all.
Well, you wouldn't.
You'd be discouraged, wouldn't you? Like,
You
well,
would, yes.
why did I bother? Nothing really changed. So why even bother? Why should I bother to change in future? But if you can see the impact, you can see the results.
Oh, yeah, well, that gives you the confidence, yeah.
Then you start learning that there is an integral connection between my inner state and the external so-called objective reality. It's not really objective. It's just an extension or projection of the internal. And so we have to really learn while we're here. We have to learn to master this model. The miracle worker is the person who understands deeply the integral connection between the interior and the exterior domains, and is able to operate the system very functionally at a high level of this. So they're still within the matrix, but they are starting to transcend it. They're going way outside of the ego's normal control system. Okay, so any other thoughts on this? I think that's
that was good.
nicely today's the introduction. So we're going into the final lessons of the course. There's one lesson that's repeated 5 times. So there's one final lesson, and that also has an introduction to these final lessons, 6 paragraphs. So let's read that, and then we'll read the final lesson. All right. Let's just recording going. So this is introduction to the final lessons.
Our final lesson. Our final lessons in the alternative.
No, both. Yeah, just to.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Our final lessons will be left as free of words as possible. My final lessons will be left as free of words as possible. We use them but at the beginning of our practicing, and only to remind us that we seek to go beyond them. I use them only at the beginning of my practicing to remind me that we choose to go beyond them. Let us turn to him who leads the way and makes our footsteps sure. Let me turn to the remembrance of perfect love that leads the way and makes my footsteps sure. To him we leave these lessons. As to him we give our lives henceforth. We offer these lessons to it as we give my lives to it from now on. For we would not return again to the belief in sin, and maybe the world seem ugly and unsafe, attacking and destroying, dangerous in all its ways and treacherous beyond the hope of trust and the escape from pain. I offer these lessons to it as I give my life. Oh, sorry, number 5 there. For we do not want to return again to the belief in sin that made the world seem ugly and unsafe, attacking and destroying, dangerous in all its ways and treacherous beyond the hope of trust and the escape from pain. And from the top, my final lessons will be left as free of words as possible. I use them only at the beginning of my practicing to remind me that we choose to go beyond them. Let me turn to the remembrance of perfect love that leads the way and makes my footsteps sure. I offer these lessons to it as I give my life to it from now on. For I do not want to return again to the belief in sin that made the world seem ugly and unsafe, attacking and destroying, dangerous in all its ways and treacherous beyond the hope of trust and the escape from pain. It's just talking about the final lessons and how they're free from words as much as possible. So the words might be used at the beginning of the practice and then we go beyond that. We turn to the remembrance of perfect love that will lead us to sure footsteps and to come away from we don't want to return to the belief in sin again because it's ugly, unsafe, dangerous, and pain and suffering. So yeah.
Yeah, to transcend all of that, and saying again, echoing the theme of the last insert. It's like, okay, we're going beyond words. And so these, it's very brief, just very short reminder, a pointer into the state of miracle-mindedness, of flow. And that's really, we've covered the last lesson before. I've mentioned it a few times during the year, because it's the final outcome of the mind training, saying this is where I leave you. I leave you in the state of miracle-mindedness or flow, so that you're able to function actually highly effectively in this world at the same time as escaping the world. So it's the best of both worlds. You can be in the world, but not of the world. But while you're in it, you can be highly effective in it and make a difference to yourself and to others without any attachment to it, without perpetuating the world's thought system in any way. That's the art of letting go, really. It's to be in the world and not of the world. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's go on to number 2 then. This is the only
His
way to find the peace.
is the only way to find the peace that God has given us. Following its guidance is the only way to find the peace that pure formless awareness of perfect love has given me. It is his way that everyone must travel in the end, because it is this ending God himself appointed. Everyone must travel this way in the end, because it is this ending pure formless awareness of perfect love itself has determined. And yet, in truth, it is already here, already serving us as gracious guidance in the way to go. And yet, in truth, it is already here, already serving me as a gracious guidance in the way to go.
Did you do number 3, Elaine? In my dream of time, it seems to be far off. Did you do that one?
Oh, sorry, I must have missed that one out. In my
In
dream
my
of
dream.
time, yes, I did miss that out. It seems to be far off. Yeah, I did miss that out.
And
And
yet, in
yet,
truth, it is.
and yet in truth, it is already here, already serving me as gracious guidance in the way to go. Let me follow in the way that the truth points out to me, together with my companions. And let us be the leaders of our many brothers who are seeking for the way, but find it not. And let me be the leader of all my companions who are looking for the way, but cannot find it. And from the top, following its guidance is the only way to find the peace that pure formless awareness of perfect love has given me. Everyone must travel this way in the end, because it is this ending pure formless awareness of perfect love itself has determined. In my dream of time, it seems to be far off, and yet in truth, it is already here, already serving me as gracious guidance in the way to go. Let me follow in the way that the truth points out to me, together with my companions. And let me be the leader of my many companions who are looking for the way, but can't find it, cannot find it. So it's just saying, following this guidance will lead to the peace of pure formless awareness.
Oh, so.
Yeah. And we know that the truth is already here, and serving this guidance is the way to go. So we need to follow this truth together with our companions. And let us be the leader for many of our companions who are looking for the way but can't find it.
Mm. So we show the way to others through our example. So in my dream of time, it seems to be far off. It can seem to be very distant and far off, yet in truth, it is already here, already serving me. I think that's a key message here. The end result, the end goal, perfect enlightenment may seem to be far off, but in truth, it's already here. It's serving you as gracious guidance in the way to go daily. And you don't always realize it. You don't always appreciate that you are listening to guidance and you are listening to spirit, and it's becoming more and more your guide. Because there's still some ego, but don't be too hard on yourself.
Yeah.
Trust that, yes, it is actually working. It's serving me every day, moment by moment, and I'm on the path. I'm walking the path. It's happening. So I'm not failing. I'm succeeding. It's just, by little bits. It's incremental. It doesn't happen all at once.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a very comforting thought, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I'm succeeding. It may seem to be very slow, and our ego will try and hijack the process and go, oh, no, nothing's really happened. Show me the tangible results. Oh, nothing to show for it. Can this process? That's its cunning way of trying to stop practice, and you do it, and you live this way, and you can't really win at anything. I mean, how can you achieve life? Think about the absurdity of saying, well, you're going to win at life. Because it's not a finite game, as Simon Sinek explains. Life is not a finite game. You can't win at life, or even something like business. How do you win at business? No, it's a process. It's ongoing. There's no end goal. It's an ongoing process. Okay, so you're okay with number 2. Let's go on to number 3.
And to this purpose, let us dedicate our minds, directing all our thoughts to serve the function of salvation. And let me dedicate my mind to this purpose, directing all my thoughts to serve the function of awakening. Unto us the aim is given to forgive the world. My aim is to let go of the world completely. It is the goal that God has given us. It is the goal that pure formless awareness of perfect love has given everyone. It is his ending in the dream we seek, and not our own. I choose its ending to the dream and not my own. For all that we forgive, we will not fail to recognize as part of God himself. I recognize that all I let go of reveals pure formless awareness, perfect love itself. And thus his memory is given back completely and complete. And so I choose to remember this awareness. From the top. And let me dedicate my mind to this purpose, directing all my thoughts to serve the function of awakening. My aim is to let go of the world completely. This is the goal that pure formless awareness of perfect love has given everyone. I choose its ending in the dream and not my own. I recognize that all I let go of reveals pure formless awareness of perfect love itself. And so I choose to remember this awareness completely.
Yeah, and then that moves, which completes my journey. It's quite nice.
Yeah.
Completely and complete. So what he's saying is when you fully remember this awareness, then the memory is no longer needed. So the Holy Spirit has done its job. The Holy Spirit remembers the remembrance of perfect love. You don't need to remember anymore. You're back in pure formless awareness of perfect love. And so that's the end of the journey. That's completed. So you've gone back. Once you've remembered fully the state, pure formless awareness of perfect love, the memory of it is no longer needed. Correct. You don't need to remember something if you're already in it. that is just your natural state of awareness, and you're experiencing that. A memory is no longer needed. You see that? That makes sense, right?
Yes, yes.
So when the split first happened, and apparently happened, there was this tiny mad idea of separation. Immediately the Holy Spirit came into being, because now we'd forgotten the truth. We needed to remember it. And the Holy Spirit was the memory of, the remembrance of this truth that we'd denied. So you see how it works. It's just an aspect of your mind. It's not like any kind of entity that's separate. It's important to realize that. So I think people get confused with the Holy Trinity because they try and make the Holy Spirit and the Christ into some kind of identity that is as an identity and self, and then they try and reconcile three things: God, the Father, the Holy Spirit, and the Christ or the Son. And they try and reconcile those three things into one. Okay, so any other thoughts on number 3?
That's good.
I choose to remember this awareness completely, which completes my journey. So I'm trying to make it, you see, the language is, I choose.
Yeah, you've got a choice, even though the ego is very dominant.
Remember this awareness completely.
Yeah.
It is always a choice. And the more you choose that, if you're choosing that consistently, even in little subtle ways, then you're on the journey. You're doing your part in your own at-one-ment.
Yeah.
And that choice will ultimately lead you beyond the need for choice. You only need to choose because you've forgotten, and now you have to choose to remember. But the Holy Spirit will lead you back into the state of pure formless awareness. So there is no longer any need to remember or even to choose it, because you just are it. You are that state. Okay? Go back to this introduction. Happy to move on to number 4.
It is our function to remember him on earth, as it is given us to be his own completion in reality. It is my function to remember it on earth, as we are its own completion in reality. So let us not forget our goal is shared, for it is that remembrance which contains the memory of God and points the way to him and to the heaven of his peace. So let me not forget my goal is shared, for in the remembrance is the memory of perfect love that points the way to it and the peace of pure formless awareness. And shall we not forgive our brother who can offer this to us? And why would we not choose to let go of all my grievances towards all my companions who offer this peace to me? He is the way, the truth, and life that shows the way to us. It is the way, the truth, and the life that shows the way to me. In him resides salvation, offered us through our forgiveness given unto him. Freedom lies in it. offered to me through my letting go.
And then from the top,
it is my function to remember it on earth, as I am its own completion in reality. So I will not forget my goal is shared. For in this remembrance is the memory of perfect love that points the way to it and the peace of pure formless awareness. And why would I choose to let go of all my grievances towards all my companions who can offer this peace to me? It is the way, the truth, and the life that shows the way to me. In him resides salvation, offered us through our forgiveness, given unto him. And freedom lies in it, given to me through my letting go.
now, again, he brings in our companions. They are the way, the truth, and the life that show the way to me. We find our salvation in our brothers because we see them in their true light. So by correcting our perception of them, we correct our perception of ourselves. And so freedom lies in it, given to me through my letting go. Okay, any thoughts on that, Helen?
No, it's fine.
How would you summarize it in a minute or less?
What, this paragraph number 4? Just to remember why we're here and our own completion and the real reality. So not to forget the goal is shared. And so letting go of our grievances towards our companions. And really they can offer us peace. They are the way to the truth. Freedom lies in it, through the letting go.
Yeah, they are the way, the truth, and the life. Shows the way to me. Freedom lies in him. Freedom lies in them. We say, given to me through my letting go. So when I let go of my judgments of my brothers, my companions, then I have the way to freedom, because it's those judgments of them as sinful and evil and guilty, that cause those ideas to linger in our own minds. When you perceive those sin and guilt anywhere, you're making it real. Then it's real in your own perception. And that cuts you off from pure formless awareness of perfect love. Okay. That makes sense. So
Yeah.
moving swiftly on then to number 5.
We will not end this year without the gift of our Father promised to his Holy Son. I will not end this year without the gift of my source promised to its innocent extension. We are forgiven now. We are released now. And we are saved from all the wrath we thought belonged to God and found it was a dream.
Let's make it personal. I am free.
I am freed from all the wrath of I thought belonged to pure formless awareness of perfect love, because I realized it was a dream. We are restored to sanity, in which we understand that anger is insane, attack is mad, vengeance is merely foolish fantasy. I am restored to sanity, in which I understand that anger is insane, attack is mad, and vengeance merely foolish fantasy. We have been saved from wrath because we learned as we were mistaken. I have been freed from wrath because we learned we were mistaken. Nothing more than that. Nothing more than that. And is a father angry at his son because he failed to understand the truth? Could the source of perfect love really be angry at its own extension because it failed to understand the truth?
Yeah, from the top, an alternative.
I will not end this year without the gift my source promised to its innocent extension. I am released now, and I am freed from all the wrath I thought belonged to pure formless awareness of perfect love, because I release it was only a dream, realized it was only a dream. I am restored to sanity, in which I understand that anger is insane, attack is mad, and vengeance merely foolish fantasy. I have been freed from wrath because I learned I was mistaken. Nothing more than that. Could the source of perfect love really be angry at its own extension because it failed to understand the truth?
Okay, thoughts on that?
Well, it's saying we're released now if we will not end the year without the source promised to us. And then we can be freed from the wrath we thought belonged to this pure formless awareness, because we realize it was only a dream. So we then become restored to this sanity. And we understand that anger is insane, attack is mad, and vengeance merely foolish fantasy. I have been freed from the wrath because I've learned it was mistaken and nothing more. So it's saying, could the source really be angry at its own extension because it failed to understand the truth? So, yeah.
Yeah, could it really be angry? If it's perfect love, the idea of perfect love being angry is insane. It couldn't be. Nothing more than that. It was just it's such a simple idea, isn't it? We've just mistaken. This was all just a terrible mistake. It's not reality. It's not sinful. It's not evil or guilty. None of that really exists. Just a tiny mad idea. A mistake that can be corrected. So the idea of a mistake is the antidote to the ego's thought system of sin and guilt, isn't it? Guilt is a mistake that's made permanent and punishable. So it becomes very real in your perception. Whereas just a mistake is, well, it's just an error, it's a mistake, and you can correct it. It's not actually that big a deal. Just don't make that mistake again once you understand that it is a mistake. So that's really all he's pointing out in this course. He's trying to help us to see what is mistaken. What is a mistake and what's true? And then we go from there. If I know it's a mistake, then I can just see it as such. And I can forgive myself. Stop beating myself up for making a mistake. Just stop making it.
Yeah.
Okay, any other thoughts on number 5, or should we go to
That's
6?
good. Yeah.
Introduction leads us nicely into our lesson.
We come in honesty to God and say we did not understand and ask Him to help us learn His lesson through the voice of His own teacher. I come in honesty to pure formless awareness of perfect love and say I did not understand and ask it to help me to learn its lessons through the voice of its own teacher. Would he hurt his son? Would his loving awareness hurt its own extension? Or would he rush to answer him and say, this is my son, and all I have is his? Or would he rush to answer the extension's search for it and say, this is my extension, and all I have is its own? Be certain he will answer this thus, for these are his own words to you. Be certain it will answer in this way, for these are its own words to you. And more than that can no one ever have, for in these words is all there is, and all that there will be throughout all time and in eternity. And no one can one ever, and no one can whenever have more
No one
than
can
that.
ever have more than that.
Oh yeah, right. More than that. For all there is and all that ever will be throughout time and eternity is in these words. From the top, I come in honesty to pure formless awareness of perfect love and say, I did not understand, and ask it to help me to learn its lessons through the voice of its own teacher. Would this loving awareness hurt its own extension? Or would it rush to answer its extension's search for it and say, this is my extension, and all I have is its own? Be certain it will answer in this way, for these are its own words to you, and no one can one ever have more than that. For all there is and all that there ever will be throughout time and eternity is in these words. It's just saying we're now coming to, well, not all honesty, come to the pure formless awareness and just say that we didn't understand and ask to hear his voice. And we're its own teacher. And saying, with this awareness, this loving awareness actually hurt his own extension? Or would it be there rushing to help
Yeah, so we're changing our attitude towards this idea of God. You know, how can something that's perfect love know of punishment, and attack, and vengeance, and wrath, and all these crazy ideas the ego's invented? You know, it doesn't know anything about these things. It says no one can ever have more than that. This is my extension, and all I have is its own. Yes, because we have the same pure formless awareness of perfect love as our source. There is really nothing else. Okay, any other thoughts on number 6?
Yeah, that's clear.
Nice introduction
It is.
to the final lesson. So let's go into that now. Okay, so the final lesson, which is repeated 5 times. Listen 361 to 365. You can read that in the original and the alternative version, please.
Yeah. This holy instant would I give to you. Be you in charge, or I would follow you, certain that your direction gives me peace. Or I give this holy aware message or moment to you. You are in charge, or I choose to follow you, certain that your guidance brings me peace.
Yeah, it's a lovely pointer. So give this holy aware moment to you. You are in charge. I choose to follow you, certain that your guidance brings me peace. You can feel the peace that it points you to. Starting to experience more of that peace, and he's just pointing us into this deeper state of peace with every lesson.
Yeah.
And then the final lesson is like, this is the outcome of the mind training program. You know, the final lesson is saying, I'm going to leave you with this lesson. You can practice this, then
You're home.
yeah, ultimately. Okay, so if you want to read very short.
And if I need a word to help me, he will give it to me. If I need a thought, that will he also give. Remembrance of perfect love will give me the words I need to help me. Oh, yeah. And if I need a thought, it will he also give. And it will also give me a thought whenever I need one. If I need but stillness and a tranquil, open mind, these are the gifts I will receive of him. And if I need only stillness and a tranquil, open mind, these are the gifts I will receive from it. He is in charge by my request. It is in charge by my request. And he will hear and answer me, because he speaks for God, my Father, and his Holy Son. And it will hear and answer me, because it speaks for pure formless awareness of perfect love, my source and its innocent extension. And the remembrance of perfect love will give me the words I need to help me. It will also give me a thought whenever I need one. And if I need only stillness and a tranquil, open mind, these are the gifts I will receive from it. It is in charge by my request, and it will hear and answer me because it speaks for pure formless awareness of perfect love, my source, and its innocent extension. It's just saying that.
So that.
Yes, it's just saying, for us to just completely let go and let this remembrance of perfect love give us the words to help us in any situation, in any thought that's needed. All we need is a still and tranquil, open mind, and that's where we receive the gifts, and it'll be in charge of our request.
It's so simple, isn't it? So this is what he's talking about here, is the state of flow, miracle mindedness or flow, where life is a lot easier. Whatever you need is given spontaneously in the moment. You don't need to go and plan, and it just, as you need guidance arises, and you tap into it. Whatever you need is given you. And there's a trust that develops. The more this happens, the more you learn to trust it. Whenever I need help, I can just call for help, and it's there. And it comes in ways I'm not in control of it. And that's actually very, very liberating. I'm not in control of it. I just trust that there's this beneficent power that it's got an intelligence way beyond my, limited rational mind, that is orchestrating things for me. Everything's happening for me to help me with this process of at-one-ment. Now, this is the final outcome of the entire workbook. He's saying, I leave you here in the charge of the Holy Spirit, with the remembrance of perfect love, that's going to guide you, and it's going to give you the words you need and the thoughts you need and the actions you're going to take and the decisions you're going to make, and everything will come from this spirit. So he's describing the flow state. He's giving us an invitation into it and saying, well, it's up to you. Trained you enough now. You've had a whole year of mind training.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Trained you to do it. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's good.
So it's a very simple lesson, but it's a very profound lesson. You can live this way. This is living A Course in Miracles. When people say, I live it, it's to live in this way. If they're living this every day, then they're living it.
Yeah. Yeah. So you don't need the practice then once you're in this state.
Well, you might still need to practice to remind yourself to stay in the state. It's all very well saying, well, I'm in the state and I'm cruising along and it's all fine. But maybe, I need to top up my tank and remind myself of these principles so that, when the inevitable challenges come, I remain in the state, no matter what. So I wouldn't rest, if you have a good day and you go, wow, no, I really actually live this.
Oh, no. Yeah.
Right. But keep practicing, because inevitably change, you get other challenges coming up, and the ego is a way of triggering stuff that's difficult. So you might think, well, I've all got this waxed, I managed to do that really quite easily. But then something else comes in.
Of course.
And it's a major. So the answer is just keep practicing.
Yeah.
And more you start entering into the state. So more and more you experience this kind of flow state, miracle mindedness. And in that state, not only is it more enjoyable and peaceful, but you actually achieve more. Things start to happen and manifest that are very beneficial for you and others. All right. So any other thoughts on this final lesson?
I know, it's a very nice lesson. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a lovely one. So, he's done it 5 times. Repeating it 5 times indicates the importance of it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
This is where he's leaving us. He's saying, I leave you in the charge of the Holy Spirit, and to just surrender to the flow of life.
Yeah.
That's what he's
Nice.
really describing. Surrender to the flow of life, not my will, but thy will be done. Do it for me. But it's a very liberating way. You go, okay, I'm handing it over. I don't know exactly how it's all going to work, but I'm handing it over, and I trust that it will work, because step by step I'll be guided to do
Yeah.
whatever I feel to do.
Very good.
Hmm. Okay, so shall we do a meditation on this?
Yeah.
It's a nice
Yeah.
one to focus on. Get into the flow state, set you up for the rest of the evening and tomorrow. Before we do that, so I know
Yeah, I know I
drop
can
off.
sometimes nod off. Sorry, yes.
I know. Tomorrow,
So relaxing, yes.
I've got to catch a flight.
Oh, yes.
So I have to do an afternoon session. Might have to be quite short. Are you around tomorrow afternoon? Can you do from, say, 3
12:30.
o'clock, 1 o'clock your time, or
12:30, because I've got an appointment at 4:30 tomorrow, but I can do 12:30.
12:30? Okay.
What's that? 2:30 your time.
Yeah, that could work. So 2:30 that'll give us till about 2 o'clock. I'll probably need to go to get back here. Yeah, I'll probably need to leave it about because there'll be a bit of traffic and stuff. Yeah. So it'll give us an hour and a half to an hour and
Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah. 12:30. Yeah, I can do 12:30 tomorrow.
Yeah,
Or
okay.
2:30 your time.
That
Yeah.
is officially the last day of the
Okay. Right. Okay.
Art of Letting Go program, because we're going to go on Saturday into the new program,
Oh, good.
into
Yeah. No, that's good.
the course.
Great. Yeah. Yeah. Look forward to that.
Yeah,
Meeting
that's
the
good.
new members. Meeting the new members.
Yeah, there's only one. There's a Canadian lady who will join us, and I'm hoping one on board as well. So there'll be 5, if she comes on board, 5 or 6 people who are doing it, somewhat seriously. And
Yeah.
maybe so John will join from time to time, but he's not going to do
Yeah.
the Sunday
Good.
processes.
Right. Oh, well.
Okay,
Go with the
so
flow. Right. So
go with the flow.
you go with the flow. Yeah. Okay. So I'll just see you tomorrow at 12:30, but I'll listen to this nice meditation.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. All right. So
I'll just
let's
mute
go
now.
to that. Okay, so this is a meditation on the final lesson, 361 to 365. So just making yourself comfortable, sitting with feet shoulder width apart, your back straight. Cup your hands in your lap, close your eyes. And start off by taking a nice deep breath in through the nose. So breathing in, noticing how the stomach rises and the chest rises. Subtle flow of air in through the nostrils. Clenching the sphincter muscle used to contract the flow of urine or squeeze the last drops out. That locks the energy in. Feel like you're drawing energy up your spine with your breath. Breathing it into your heart center. Feel this lovely warm tingling sensation in your heart, your mind, your body, energy system. So just scan your mind now, the top of the inhale, breathe in again, top yourself up and look for any difficult thoughts and emotions. If it's just a minor irritation, some kind of a grievance, maybe some fear. Whatever it is, just notice it, breathe into it. Imagine you breathing in the remembrance of perfect love, breathing in light to every pore and every cell, every muscle of your body. So remind yourself, no matter what you're experiencing, that I give this wholly aware moment to you. So in other words, in this moment, I'm wholly aware. I give this wholly aware moment to you. Give this wholly aware moment to you. You are in charge. Breathe into that. For I choose to follow you. Certain that your guidance brings me peace. So listen to these words, just very short, sweet pointers into the truth. So use them just as that they are pointing to. So breathe in again. So the remembrance of perfect love will give me the words I need to help me. Remembrance of perfect love will give me the words I need to help me. It will also give me a thought whenever I need one. And if I need only stillness and a tranquil open mind, these are the gifts I will receive from it. So repeat after me. If I need, start again. So remembrance of perfect love will give me the words I need to help me. And as you exhale, repeat those words aloud to yourself as an affirmation of the truth. Breathing in again. will also give me a thought whenever I need one. Whenever I need one, it will give me thoughts that are helpful and constructive, effective, so we can trust this. And if I need only stillness and a tranquil, open mind, these are the gifts I'll receive from it. So feel the stillness, breathe it in to every pore, every cell, every muscle. This is the very essence of reality. It's the source of peace. So just revel in it for a few minutes and give it charge. Allow it to be in charge by your request. I need only stillness and a tranquil, open mind. These are the gifts I'll receive from it. Say that aloud to yourself with purpose and conviction. Everything I need, whether it's silence and stillness or it isn't charged by my request. Breathe in on that. Well, there's no coercion here. You've asked it, you've invited this presence in to help you because it's so powerful. It can help you. It isn't charged by my request. And it will hear and answer me because it speaks for pure, formless awareness of perfect love, my source, and its innocent extension. Hear and answer me because it speaks for pure, formless awareness of perfect love, which is my source and its innocent extension. Feel that extension now in your heart and your mind. You are the extension of perfect love itself. Right now, breathe that source. So just pause here. No need for more words. Words just point you into sink into the state we call pure formless awareness of perfect love, which is your source, its extension. When you become aware of this awareness, then the source merges with its extension. That is the mystical merging of the Father and the Son in and through your experience. So there's really nowhere else to go, and there's nothing else to do, nothing else to be. Just breathe, relax, be still. Observe the breath. The breath quiets your mind, and with each breath go deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper with still, calm, tranquil mind. So she says a peaceful, tranquil mind is not a little gift. Going down, sinking inward, deeper and deeper into this still, calm, peaceful place we call the Kingdom of Heaven, state of pure formless awareness of perfect love. Any thoughts come up that seem to disturb this peace, just breathe in again. Imagine you breathing in the very essence of this peace, the light. So every pore, every cell, every muscle of your body, every part of your mind, every fiber of your being is in the light of the truth, the one. One light, the one love. So nothing else to do, nowhere else to go, just blow it away. The breeze of your breath. It's exhaling out like a dark cloud or black smoke. This energy is leaving you. Just sinking into the peace of God, it's been called, that surpasses all understanding. Sinking deeper and deeper inward. You go with each breath into this transcendent state of pure formless awareness that the lesson is pointing you to. Just keep watching your breath. A few minutes of deep silence. Just experience the peaceful flow state the lesson is pointing to for yourself. So it becomes experiential rather than sinking inwards deeper and deeper with each breath to the still, calm, quiet, infinite, eternal state. Infinity and eternity beckon you. So Just surrender to them. There's nothing else you have to do, nowhere else you have to go, nothing else you have to remember for the next few minutes. Just let yourself go into this infinite, eternal state of mind. So any thoughts, emotions, related body sensations come up to disturb this deep peace at all, just notice and remind yourself that I give this wholly aware moment to my source. It is in charge. I choose to follow it, certain that its guidance leads me to peace. So you're going to just blow out, breathe in the light and the peace and the joy, feel it. This is your choice, you're choosing this. Breathe it into exhale. Oh, the light is completely radiant and splendid and radiating from. Now just let go of any negative thoughts and emotions disturbing you by recognizing that they are just that. Exhale, blow them out. Let them go. Going, gone. And nothingness, they already are. Follow those stomach into the spine. All the last many are out. And just rest here in a still, calm, and peaceful state. And so just gently coming out of it, back into the awareness of the body and the breath and the senses in the world. And on the count of three, can I open your eyes? So one, just breathing in, noticing how the stomach rises and the chest rises and the subtle flow of air in through the nostrils. Pausing at the top of the inhale, scan your mind, noticing any thoughts, emotions, related body sensations going on, particularly anything that feels negative, limiting, contracted, constricting in any way. Breathe into it, just wanting to let it go. Blow it all out. Let it all go. So nothingness that it really is. So count of two. Let's exhale. Let go of any negativity. Blowing it away with the breeze of your breath, feeling the energy flow out of you like a dark smoke, black energy leaving your body, your mind, your energy system entirely. Stomach into the spine. Count of two. Notice the weight of your body pressing down into the chair and your feet touching the ground. Noticing what you're feeling and touching. Maybe there's a subtle taste in your mouth, perhaps a smell in your nose. Notice what you're hearing, the surrounding environment. Just noticing all these things from this very still, calm, and surrendered state of mind. Showing the truth is true and there are no illusions. So it is. So anchor the state in. Set the intention to stay here in this state for the rest of the evening and on into tomorrow. So it is said, so it is done. Now on the count of three, open your eyes. So just take a moment to look around, just observing any object randomly for a few moments. Notice the underlying piece is still there. Piece you experienced hopefully quite deeply in the last 25 minutes is still very much there. And it's there irrespective of whichever object you look at. So look at another one. Notice the same piece. You can close your eyes briefly to drop into the piece. Open your eyes. Notice that the piece is still there. That same feeling. It's unaffected really by whatever seems to happen from the level of form. So you're training your mind to stay rooted in this deep peace, the peace of God. It's being called by the Apostle Paul that surpasses all understanding. Training your mind to stay rooted in that peace, which is the source of the flow state. Can't attain flow without an underlying foundational peace. So just anchor the state of peace in. acknowledging its presence. And thanks for it. And thanks for the session. These amazing teachings that are there for you to help you awaken from your dream of your nightmare of separation and everything that entails to the truth of pure formless awareness of perfect love, and while you're doing that, to live a happy dream. So yeah, just if the intention to stay here, anchor the state in, and use today's lesson if you need a top up. So just remind yourself, I give this holy aware moment to you, you're in charge. Or I choose to follow you, certain that your guidance brings me peace. And you can remind yourself that if you need anything, a word, a thought, an action, decision, or maybe just stillness and a tranquil open mind, these are the gifts that will be given you. So everything you truly need will be given you. That's a very comforting thought. So you learn to develop trust. So that brings us to the end of the meditation and of the session. So there's actually one more poem I just want to read. So Lane's gone, but I'll read it quickly just to close this off. This is this poem is one of Helen Schucman's poems. She wrote a number of poems related to the course material. So I'll just read it. The Singing Reed, this one's called. So, my eyes would look upon the Son of God, for this I came, to overlook the world. And seeing it forgiven, understand its holiness is but the truth in me. Christ walks forth in every step I take. God shines within me, lighting up the world in radiant joy. The Holy Spirit comes with me, lest I should turn and lose the way. For God has given me a goal to reach, and has made certain that I cannot fail. And so he gave me eyes to see beyond appearances and shadows. I will see the Son of God exactly as he is. In that sight is all the world transformed and blessed forever with the love of God. How holy are my footsteps, which but go to do the will of God, whose Son I am. And how forever perfect is my will, which is in no way separate from his own. So I've translated this into the alternative language we use to help you. I'll read it again in that language. And just close your eyes, breathe in, do this as a mini meditation as you listen. Put one hand in your heart center, breathe in. My eyes would look upon the extension of perfect love. For this I came to overlook the world. And having let it go, I understand its pure formless awareness is only the truth in me. The true self walks with me in every step I take. Pure formless awareness of perfect love shines within me, lighting up the world in radiant joy. Remembrance of perfect love comes with me in case I should turn and lose the way. Remembrance of perfect love comes with me in case I should turn and lose the way. Pure formless awareness of perfect love has given me a goal to reach. It has made certain that I cannot fail. And so it gave me eyes to see beyond appearances and shadows. It has made certain that I cannot fail. So it gave me eyes to see beyond appearances and shadows. I will see the extension of perfect love exactly as it is. And in that sight is all the world transformed and blessed forever with the pure formless awareness of perfect love. In that sight is all the world transformed, blessed forever with the pure formless awareness of perfect love. How pure are my footsteps which only go to listen to the guidance of how pure my footsteps which only go to listen to the guidance of perfect love. His extension of I am. How forever perfect is my awareness, which is in no way separate from its own. And this is the merging of the Father and the Son, the source and its extension. She's asking us to do through this beautiful poem. So I hope you enjoyed that. You can read it, reflect on it, contemplate on it, let the words just point you in to this deeper inner state. Use this little meditation recorded if you're on the group to listen to this, ideally before bed, and it will help you to stay well, really deeply connected to the presence So that's my wish for you, that you stay in presence of God, pure forms of oneness and perfect love, which is very experience that, practically speaking, is peace. And you remain in a state of peace, happiness, and joy, no matter what seems to happen in this world. Thank you for listening or watching to the live stream. If you'd like to join us for the Letting Go course, which is starting in a few days on Sunday, it's the start of this 1-year program again, starting with day 1, lesson 1 of the Workbook of A Course in Miracles, and the text chapter 1. So join us for the first live session. If you'd like to, just head over to theaolg.com to do that, and you can register and join us. Also, it's a totally free course, and I actually give a 3-week free trial course as well, so you can join that. You can also go to lifebuild.com to get some of the material I shared up front, the daily quote, commentary, and then the lesson, and there was a breath break and or meditation. And finally, if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, and you like this content, you'd like to be notified whenever I go live, then do that. Subscribe to the channel, hit the subscribe button, and you'll be notified whenever I go live, which is 6 days a week, and I upload any other videos, which will happen a bit more this year. So thanks again for listening. I hope to meet you on the inside soon. So that's me signing off. Thank you again, and namaste, which means the peaceful self in me acknowledges and honors that same peaceful self, surpasses all understanding in you.